This technology is getting better. Still, a lot of businesses are not implementing it. The ones that do are getting crazy advantage.
You don't have to spend all your time learning how to do the AI. Get somebody that already knows how to do it. Tell them what you want them to do. Get them to do it and get it sorted.
Feel like you've had a successful week. You just sometimes you just have to look back to realize that.
Yeah, I actually have a meeting with my team every Friday. What went well this week? What could we have done better?
Here's the pitch. I'm looking for more guests. And if you have something that's valuable, advice, a strategy that you want to share.
I love it. Yeah, look, people do that. They coming on your podcast, your high-level podcast, and then trying to sell their high level is a bit weird. Give some value, and if people like you, they will come and buy from you.
You have this unique strategy how you help people with creating content, isn't it?
I help you create 20 stories like that explain the concepts in your business, but with a metaphor that people actually really understand.
Hello everybody, welcome to another episode on the HighLevel Experience podcast. Our guest today is somebody who has spent more than 3 decades building businesses, leading teams, and learning the hard lessons behind what actually makes a company scalable. He's worked with industries across finance, rail, coaching, systems, outsourcing, and now the high-level world, helping coaches and service-based businesses escape the burnout cycle by combining strategy, people, process, technology, and AI-trained human virtual assistants. Today we're going to dig into a question every agency owner, SaaSpreneur, and high-level user eventually has to face. Are you building a real business that can operate without you? Or have you accidentally built yourself a more complicated job? Please welcome to the show, Louis Swart.
Thank you so much, Vit. Super appreciate you. Really happy to be here, man. Really happy
to have you on the show, Louis. Mate, take us back to that initial beginnings when you decided to get into the marketing space. What led to that?
Look, I think I've always been an entrepreneur, so I've always had my own business. I remember sitting in the bank. I just sold a business for 5 million, and I'm sitting in the bank. I'm 30 years old, and I had this dream board, sold a business, sitting in the bank, they're counting out the money, and it was such a cool feeling. They got one of those machines, grrr, and then they put the money and they put an elastic band on it, put it into our briefcase. Man, it's an amazing feeling. And I thought back to when 5 years earlier I had a plumbing business, and my plumbing business, I went to sell it, and I had 10 plumbers. I was like, this is I'm going to get a killing for this. And the broker said to me, who does the accounts? And I was like, I do them. Who does quality control? I do it. Everything was me. Because if you want something done right, you need to do it yourself. So we've all heard that, we all believe that, and who does the accounts? Me, it's done right, because I did it myself. Who did the quality control? Me, I did it myself, it's done right. And he said, Louis, your business is worth nothing. And I still remember that sinking feeling. Here's this business that I've built, and I'm like, this is worth nothing. I've literally just built myself a job, and I haven't even built a good job. I've built a job where I'm working 18 hours a day, and I don't earn I'm not earning massive amounts of money for the 18 hours that I'm doing. And it was a big wake-up call to me. Any case, fast forward 5 years, man, I've learned how to delegate. I delegate everything, hey. And went to sell the business, and the guys, who does the accounts, who does quality control, who hires the people, who does this, who does that? And the fingers all pointed somewhere other than me. And so we were able to sell that business in 2 weeks for 5 million. Which was a massive learning curve for me. Most of us go into business for one of 3 reasons. We want to have more time to spend with our family and doing the things we love, or we want to grow the business and sell it, or we want to leave a legacy, we want to leave something for our kids. And all 3 of those things have got one thing in common. You're not in the business. So how do you get yourself out of your business? How do you get yourself out of the day-to-day of your business? How do you put in better systems? How do you put in better processes? How do you delegate better to people to be able to do those tasks for you? And literally, that's why we love GoHighLevel. We love GoHighLevel because we can use it to automate funnels and create stuff so that now we don't have to worry if we get a new customer, if we send them this email, if we send them that, or if somebody doesn't sign up, are they in a nurture sequence? We know that they're going to be in a nurture sequence because they've signed up and got a lead magnet from us, for example. And yeah, so that's literally what I do. And as time went along, I actually came to Australia. I made some big mistakes, lost lots of money, made some cool epic wins. The last business, we grew to turning over 35 million, 450 staff, purely because I learned how to delegate. I was amazing at delegating. Okay. And along the way, I kind of got to this point where I felt like I felt like I wasn't happy. And I should be happy. I had the big business, I had the teams, I had everything, but I wasn't happy. And so then I went on this journey of self-discovery to try and find out what's wrong with me. What's wrong with me? I should be happy. And my money had gone like this. Lots of money, no money, lots of money, no money, lots of money, no money. And I was like, how do I fix this? How do I fix this? And I became an NLP master practitioner. I became a hypnotherapist, timeline therapist. I did all these therapies and different things to actually try and fix the problem. And along the way, I discovered all these incredible business owners, such amazing business owners who are out there just trying to make a living, or they're out there and they're coaches and they're trying to help other people. They're not making any money. And I was like, man, how do I help these people? How do I help the smaller people to actually make money? Because I know there's corporates or big companies, it was easy to make money. How do I help these smaller guys to do it? And so the first thing I did was I started coaching them. I started helping them with getting virtual assistants. And now recently I've been helping them with AI, to be able to put AI into their business. So that was really the start of this journey. That's how I got to this point where I'm actually really trying to support all local businesses and all small businesses.
Brilliant. You made some important points there I want to come back to. The one that stuck in my mind, we talked about the valuation of a business. And I think is a good one to highlight, because a lot of us who are trying to sell high level, who are trying to offer our marketing services, we are thinking about now, how do we help business now? And we pitch it, or they come to us and they're asking, hey, can you help me generate leads? So they're kind of thinking about now as well. Right? You don't often hear a business owner, hey, can you automate my business? Can you streamline my business so that I can exit or that I can have more free time? And ultimately, that's what it's all about. You should not have started a business to get yourself a job. Initially, we all have to do that. But I think that's an important distinction that we should think about when we're educating our customers, because it adds additional value to the proposition. Is, hey, look, we're really good at automating businesses. We can help you implement AI. We know the benefits of all those things. But by the way, as a result of, you might end up having more free time. Would that be okay? Hey, by the way, as a result of, you will not only potentially make more money now, more profit, and have more free time, but it just happens that by streamlining your business, we will make your business more sellable in the future, should you decide to do that. Mr. Customer, would it be okay to sign up for this plan just to get started? So now you've pitched it to something that's more than just, oh, these guys, I'm going to pay for this software and it's going to help me nurture my leads. No, this is me investing in the software as a vehicle to achieve more than I actually thought before I got on this call. This is brilliant. And I think this is a good message, even like just me thinking about it. It's just a good reminder even for myself. I don't often say this enough. I'm not preaching just something that I'm doing every time. Sometimes we have ideas and thoughts on this podcast, and it's just a reminder of, oh, this is actually brilliant. I need to think about that more as well when I'm talking to customers. And the same thing for you guys who are listening. I want you to think about that too. If you're running your agency, you're thinking about, I'm not closing enough, or how do I differentiate myself? And all those different thoughts. Think about this. Slide it in to your pitch when you're talking to a potential customer next time. Make them aware that this is more than that. Make them aware that this technology, AI, is not going anywhere. AI automation, it's progressing further and further. It used to be AI, you use it to give you an output. You give it input, it gives you an output. Then you got to a point where you've got AI that can be agentic and do stuff in a system for you based on what you ask it to do. But now we're actually getting to a point where AI is actually, you can create these cron jobs. So basically these scheduled jobs that they just happen every week. And AI can do them week by week and even learn on its own iterations and get better. So why am I saying this? Is because, right, it's not going anywhere. This technology is getting better. Still, a lot of businesses are not implementing it. The ones that do are getting crazy advantage. They're getting cutting edge advantage, scalability, profitability. There's a lot of different subset topics that we can get into, Louis. I think a good one might be even like the AI in the sense of VAs. That's an interesting one. Because I'm seeing a shift. I'm starting to notice a shift. Philippines, VAs in Philippines, starting to look at how they're going to launch their own agencies because they're realizing that a lot of businesses are now thinking. Put simply, I had a meeting with my client. My client has a legal business. He had VAs to help process some paperwork, some assessing some data, things like that. And now he's letting them go because he's tried an AI tool that does it in 7.5 minutes. That was something that a staff member would take them 2 to 3 weeks to go through paperwork.
Yeah.
So
look, for me, I've got 50 staff in the Philippines and staff in Nepal and Egypt and South Africa. And when AI first came out, to be truthful, I panicked. And I'm like, man, I need to get rid of the VAs and I need to get into the AI as quickly as I can. And so I started just throwing myself into AI. I started training people on AI. I started spending all my time learning AI. I got my team just like studying AI. And then I found that, you know what? AI is awesome, but it's got heaps of limitations. I'm sure that as things go along, there'll be less and less limitations. But there's limitations like, I'll give you an example. I've got a virtual assistant, and what she does is when I have a meeting on my calendar, she goes in, she would search them up on the internet, get their details, fill out a meeting form, and then give me a meeting form. So when I'm in a meeting with them, I've got an idea of who I'm talking to and what they do and how we can work together. And then I was like, I'll just use AI to do this. So I went to N8N. I got one of my programmers to actually build me an agent in N8N. So what the agent did was a person would book on a calendar. The agent would look at the calendar, would separate it. One of the agents would go and look on the internet. The other agent would go and actually look through my computer. And then they'd come back and then they'd discuss it. And then they would give me a meeting report. And that was okay. But that took us about 2 months to actually to get in place. And getting it to integrate with the Google and my Google calendars was a nightmare. And then about a month ago, I installed Hermes on one of my computers. So in the back, I don't know if you can see there, over there where I'm pointing. That's actually a laptop. So it's actually a laptop there. I've got the screen just on dull because it runs 24/7, and I've got Hermes loaded on there. So Hermes is just working all day in the background. Okay, and what Hermes does is, I was like, I wonder if I could do this myself. So I got into my Hermes and I just talked to it through WhatsApp. So I just use WhatsApp, Hermes. I've got WhatsApp on a phone that's connected to Hermes. And I go on my phone and I just say, hey, I want you to create meeting notes for me for every meeting that I'm going into. I want you to just go at 6 o'clock in the morning, look what meetings I've got for the day, create notes for them and create notes for the next day. And I want you to do that every morning at 6 o'clock. And then if I'm in a meeting or I'm going into a meeting, I'm going to call you. I'll just text you and then I want you to give me the meeting notes. So now I can just put meeting notes and it'll come up and tell me all the meeting notes about you. But what it also does is it goes into, when I'm talking to people, I'm recording stuff on Fathom. So I'm recording stuff on Fathom. It goes in and finds the Fathom recording, renames the Fathom recording, saves the Fathom recording to your file, creates a file for you if there isn't a file, renames the Fathom recording, puts the Fathom recording into the file, attaches the meeting notes to the file, and attaches the meeting notes to the calendar. And all that was just done with me talking to it for literally maybe 10 minutes. And I set that whole agent up on Hermes, which runs locally on a machine. Now, this is how fast technology's gone. 4 months ago, my guys were building an agent. It took forever to try and get the APIs and everything done. And now, bang, it's done it quickly. Super easy. And for me, I was like, man, this is amazing. I don't need a VA. It's like free and like I'm going to be good. And then I got the bill. Because the Hermes is logging into Google through an API and I'm paying for the API. Every time there's an API request, bang, I get paid. I get thing. So it ran up to $100 and then timed out. And then I started thinking, hang on a second, this AI is amazing, but at the moment it's as cheap as it's ever going to be, right? It's not going to be this cheap again. And so we all go, oh, just use AI, I'll use AI. And AI is cool, but companies are actually relying so much on AI now. If AI doubles the price, or if AI goes out of business, where are you going to go and try and find those people that you laid off because you replaced them with an AI? If that AI goes out of business or doubles in price. So I think the best value, is a combination of a human and AI. And I always talk about it like this. If you were hiring people, let's say you had a factory and you said to me, hey, Louis, I want to hire some staff to carry stuff in the factory for me. And I said to you, I can give you a staff member A, he's a really muscly big guy. Or I can give you staff member B, he's a bit skinnier. But he comes with an Iron Man suit. And so he can pick up a whole crate, a whole pallet of boxes. You don't need a forklift, you just get him, he'll pick it up because he's got the suit on. You'd be crazy to take the guy, the big muscly guy. You'd take the guy that had the bionic suit. And it's exactly the same with us. AI is that bionic suit. So if you get a VA, you want the VA that uses AI. If you get a VA that knows how to use AI, you don't have to spend all the time, and I can tell you it'll just suck up your time like there's no tomorrow. You don't have to spend all your time learning how to do the AI. Get somebody that already knows how to do it. Tell them what you want them to do. Get them to do it and get it sorted. As opposed to you trying to learn how to do it, which is a total waste of time.
This is where strategic, experience in running a business for that VA is crucial, so that they can use the AI in an effective way to produce or do regular tasks for you that either create efficiency in saving somebody else's time or help bring more money. But the crucial one is understanding the value of those particular tasks, I think, because you brought an important point. The tokens and the expense can go way up. I put a post up in my LinkedIn I think it was last week, and I put up 2 examples of 2 big companies who have spent a crazy amount on their marketing budget. And there's Uber and Starbucks. Starbucks was trying to use it for their, I think it was inventory management or something like that. It cost them a huge amount of money. I'm talking millions. And they didn't thought it out properly. They realized, we actually overspent on this. And the return wasn't really that great. That actually, there was some diminishing return in staff satisfaction. So there's stuff that we don't know what we don't know yet, because it's a new thing, right? And when I think leveraging AI for different things in your business, so for them, it was like, well, that was reducing staff satisfactions. They felt useless. And that had a negative impact on the customer satisfaction because the employees weren't happy, and that showed in the SaaS service. You look it up. There's more to the story. And same with Uber. They were using it for something else. I know another big company, can't remember the name, they overspent. So whilst it's incredible, powerful, amazing, there's always the other side of the coin. And in my case, I've been using Victor AI. I've got it plugged into my Slack channel. Brilliant, amazing, but I'm cautious of the credits because I look at it, and if you get really silly and you start like going at it for 5 hours straight, well, you'll be in a bit of a surprise how much that actually costs you. And in comparison to what a VA would have cost you, obviously the productivity is somewhere else. But this is not to say AI is actually not great, don't use it because it's very expensive. No, that's not that. It's just think about what you use it for and use it. It's like in business, you just got to be savvy where you put in your money, where you put in your focus. Is it bringing a return? If it is, then justify that. That cost is easily justified. But if it isn't, then you're just tinkering with shiny syndrome and you're paying for it. So just be careful.
You may not realize this, but for the last 2 years, I've had a secret weapon that has made running my business inside of HighLevel so much easier. You see, there is so much that HighLevel can do. which is amazing, but it's a lot of work to stay up to date with it. And even more so if my customers are asking me questions about it. And this is why I'm excited to announce that our show is officially part of the HLPT Creator Network. This is HighLevel Pro Tools, an organization that I've been using to run support for my customers, as well as give me a ton of awesome epic add-ons that make running, launching, and differentiating my SaaS inside of HighLevel so much easier. And now that they're an official sponsor of the show, they've done something pretty bloody awesome. If you go to hlpt.com/experience, you can get one of their incredible tools absolutely for free. No purchase necessary, just for being a listener on the show. So head over to hlpt.com/experience, grab that free tool, and I promise you this is going to improve the conversion rates on your page. Check out all the other stuff that they offer and tell them that Pete sent you.
You know what's wild? There's a smarter way to grow your agency and help more local businesses without adding more stress. That's what HighLevel does. It's your all-in-one sales, marketing, automation, and AI system. No more duct taping tools together or paying for 20 different subscriptions that barely talk to each other. I've been using it for 5 years with my own white-level version, stand out from the pack, helping Aussie businesses like Dimitri, a Canberra electrician, who now runs his jobs, quotes, calls, and follow-ups with our built-in AI employee. If you're an agency, HighLevel lets you do exactly that. Support your clients in new ways while building stable, recurring revenue every month. And if you're a local business, partner up with somebody who knows your market and your industry. If you're in Tasmania, my mate Jared from Boulder Digital, for example, has you covered. If you're in Canberra, that's my turf. Check out standoutfromthepack.com.au and we'll get you sorted. The point is, there's probably a high-level agency or SaaSpreneur near you. We're seasoned marketers, tech-savvy super nerds who love helping local businesses grow. We're global, we're connected, we're high-levelers. Now, I've got something really special for you guys. I've negotiated an exclusive 30-day HighLevel trial that's double the usual just for you. Sign up your agency through GoHighLevel.com/vid or upgrade your existing plan, and I'll hook you up with over $3,200 worth of bonuses, resources, templates, and snapshots I normally give to my private clients only. So whether you're scaling an agency or leveling up your business, start with the right system. GoHighLevel.com/vid or team up with your local SaaSpreneur and let's make business simple again. One platform, one login, no duct tape, just results.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But the thing is that this is just a tool. AI is just a tool that's come along and it's going to help us massively in all the stuff that we do, right? It enables us to do things much faster. And I spoke to an old man, and this old guy, he was a draftsman. So, they like an architect. And he used to draw out plans. And he told me about the good old days. And he said, in the good old days, we got a massive big piece of paper. And we got a pencil and a ruler. And we'd draw it. And then they'd draw a house. And then you'd say, oh, look, I don't want the bathroom there. I want the bathroom over there. And he said, then they'd have to get another piece of paper and then draw the bathroom and then sticky tape it onto where the other bathroom used to be. Sticky tape it on there. And he said if he drew a house plan, it took a week to draw a house plan. And everybody was just like, if I'm doing a house plan, it takes a week. He said, and then one day somebody came in and he said, hey, we've got this new program called CAD, okay? And you can now do a house plan in a day. And he said, no, I can't believe this. And they said, well, we're going to send you on this training. He did the training. And he said, I thought, well, this is amazing. So the rest of the week, I'm going to have 4 days off. I'm going to do the house plan on one day. Boss will pay me for the week, and I have the rest of the week off. But he said, all that happened was the boss said, okay, you can do 1 a day. I want 5 a week. And he said, it didn't stop him. He was still working just as hard, but now he was accomplishing 5 times as much. And then he said a little while later, they came out with new versions of CAD, and now he said they could actually do a whole house plan in 2 hours. And the boss didn't say, well, you can go home. The boss said, well, you can do it in 2 hours. I want 4 of those a day by 5 a week. And it was just because the tool got smarter, so more was expected of the people. And I think that's what's happening now. The tools are getting smarter, and so we expect more from people. This is really where we're going along. And if we can get our VAs to start using the tools, the stuff that they can do for us is amazing. They can create content for us. They can put it out on our socials. They can help us with accounts. They can help us with our emails. And you've got Victor looking through your emails, doing a scan of all your things, and then telling you your important emails, and your VAs can be responding to those. Whereas before, your VA would Like that thing with my VA. She used to do the meeting notes. And every meeting she'd do the meeting notes, and it took a lot of time. Now, Hermes does the meeting notes, okay? And she just has a scan of them, but now she can spend more time calling more customers, spending more time with clients, which is a higher level of service that she can provide than her doing the meeting notes.
Managing the CRM, going through the contacts, clicking about pipelines, following up with people who haven't been followed up in a while. Yes, absolutely. Actually bringing new business in. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Interesting era.
I think that we're living in a world now where we wear busyness as a badge of honor. And we say to people, hey, Vit, how are you going? And you say, I'm so busy. I'm so busy. How many people do you know? You say to them, how are you? And they just go, I'm so busy. I'm just so busy. I'm so busy. I've got so much on. I'm so busy. And we treat I'm busy as I'm important. I'm worthy. I'm loved. Okay? I'm like successful. And it doesn't mean that at all. You can be super busy and actually have no money and not be successful at all. Right? But we treat the word busy, we associate it with the success. Somebody like Tony Robbins, he said, focus on the outcome, don't focus on the activities. And so how do we get the outcome to be better? How do we get more outcomes instead of us just being busy? So I've written a book, and it's called B-Myth, the B-Myth, and it's all about this busyness, How do we get away from being busy and actually get to being able to have time to ourselves and to enjoy.
There's a similar book called E-Myth by Michael Gerber. It's an interesting twist on that one.
Absolutely. I wrote it as a parable, so it's a relatively easy read. It's currently on Amazon for $1 or something. But there's some tools that I've got in there. And one thing I'd love to tell all the people listening to this podcast, you can listen to podcasts all day and go, oh, that was interesting, or that was interesting, or I learned something there, or that was interesting. But if you don't implement anything, you're literally just being entertained. You might as well watch something on TV. Yeah. So I've got one thing for your listeners to do. Okay. I've actually got 3 things. I'll tell you 3 things that you can implement today, right now. Quite easy, all 3 things. So the first thing is this. Lots of us can't tell the difference between a low-value task and a high-value task. We don't know the difference, right? So the easy way to work it out is I call it the 2K rule. So imagine if you went and worked for a boss tomorrow, you'd probably work 40 hours a week, about 40 hours a week. And you'd probably work about 50 weeks a year, yeah? So 40 times 50 will give you the figure of 2,000. So that's how many hours you've got. That's how many working hours if you worked for a boss, right? Now, how much do you want to earn this next year? Let's say we want to earn $200,000. That sounds reasonable, hey? $200,000. Okay? So $200,000, we take that and we divide it by the 2,000 hours that we've got. So you've only got 2,000 hours to make $200,000. So that means that every hour you have to make at least $100. Does that make sense? Yeah?
And then you just assign the activity. Did you say 2,000?
Okay.
40 hours times.
40 hours times 50 weeks.
I would actually say, 52 weeks is in a year. You're going to take at least 4 years off for holidays because it's important to take time off. I would actually plan for 8 weeks because I want to have a nice lifestyle. Go for more holidays.
And you wouldn't want to work 40 hours. And you wouldn't want to work 40 hours. So you probably would want to work 30 hours. But what we're doing is I'm taking...
because I want to work out and have time. I actually do that now since we moved back to Czech Republic. I take 2 hours out of my day. Most days, some days I can't, but most days I try between 11 a.m. until 1 a.m. Or 1 p.m., sorry. Go hit the gym. But I used to go to hit the gym and it'd be like, I've got an hour and I go to the gym and I end up just having 30 minutes for a quick workout and it's rushed. And in my head, I'm still actually working back in the office, even though I'm in the gym. Now I allocate 2 hours, walk to the gym, walk through the park, 15 minutes, just walking, warm up. It's beautiful, just walking, thinking, relaxing. Hit the gym, do a proper workout, hour, 15 minutes. I actually have time to finish off some bicep curls as well, because that's a treat at the end. I like to do compound first, because maximize like all that, and then tricep biceps, because it counts, right? And then walk back, take a shower, not rush, relax, take a shower, dress, put a clean t-shirt back on, and walk back home. 2 hours. And I feel amazing. But I feel like I'm not rushing it. So that's 2 hours out of my day. But that's a luxury. That's a luxury. But I have to commit, because whilst it's a luxury, it's tremendous impact on my well-being. I hit the office after that. I get a lunch, right? I have a nice steak or something. Get back in the office, and I feel like, wow, invigorated, like fresh-minded, everything, seeing things clearly. Actually, productivity goes up. But yeah, so let's go 30 hours, and I want to have 8 weeks of the year time off. All right, so that's 52 minus 8. So
let's work it on the 2000 for now. We'll work it on the 2000 for now. Okay, I'll show you the concept. I'll show you the concept, and then you can adjust it to whatever you want. Right. So ideally, you'd want to do double that. Ideally, you'd only want to work 1,000 hours. But if you worked for a boss, you'd probably have 2,000 hours for the year. Now, let's say we want to earn $200,000. We divide it by 2,000 hours, and that gives us a figure of $100 per hour. So now you have got a benchmark figure. You have to make $100 every hour. Okay? Now what happens is people go, oh, you know what, I need to go on Canva and I need to adjust something, or I need to just do something, right? And they do a $10 an hour task. They do a low-level task. And they go, oh, you know what, I just did it myself because I just quickly, it was only half an hour job, so I just did it. They made $10. And they go, well, I saved $10. You didn't. You lost $90, because this is where you have to be. So you lost $90. Now, because you lost $90 that hour, if you want to stay on target the next hour, you have to do something worth $190 to make up for that hour. That's the problem. We don't actually realize that. So now, here's what I want you to do to implement this. I want you to take a post-it note. Get a post-it note and work out what that figure is. I'm going to tell you some of the calculations. If you want to make $100,000, it's $50 an hour. If you want to make $500,000, it's $250 an hour. Okay? Quite simple. Just write it down on a post-it note somewhere nice and big. Stick it on your computer, stick it on your monitor, stick it on your wall, stick it somewhere where you're going to see. And for the next month, when you're working, look up at that note and go, would I pay somebody $100 an hour, or whatever that figure is, would I pay somebody $100 an hour to do this job, to work in Canva, to move my photo around? And I'd go, there's no way I'm going to pay somebody $100 an hour. That would be ridiculous. That would be a rip-off. And if that's your answer, you're ripping yourself off. You are ripping yourself off because you're paying yourself $10 an hour for where you should be earning $100 an hour. And just that one trick is going to completely open your eyes to exactly what is available. So I suggest everybody listening to this podcast, get yourself a post-it note and write down that figure. Every 100,000 is $50. Write down that figure. Now remember that it's got to be at least that, because we want to have a bit more holiday. We want to be able to go to gym for 2 hours. We want to be able to do all these things. But if we're not even getting to that basic figure, there's no way we're going to get to the goal at the end.
I love it.
We just can't get there. That's
That's
number
brilliant.
1. Okay. Tool number 2.
Can I slide into that before you jump into that?
Go.
Tool number 2?
Yep, let's go.
Just on the money side. I was in Level Up in Dallas last year, and one of the speakers, Michael Mikhailovich, I forgot the name properly. I think it's his name. He talked about the money bit, where allocating a certain amount of money from your bank account and putting it aside on savings. And it was the whole context was people wonder why they are not rich and in business, and how everything just goes into the main account and just pay out of it, pay for expenses and everything. And then what's left, you deal with it. He says that's wrong.
Yeah.
You do the other way. You put aside every week, you put aside what goes towards the savings, and that just forces you to be a little bit more critical where you're spending on expenditure. So it's just a mindset shift and dealing with money so that you actually end up growing your wealth rather than just spending it. And it's just a mindset shift. So I was just
Yeah.
adding to that, because if you are doing it and you are saving $100 an hour now, you are making $100 an hour, make sure you actually manage that money too, so it's not getting drained the other way because of some other expenses.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we think about money and we go, money, how can I save some money? How can I save some money here? How can I do this? I don't want to spend that much because I don't want to spend $100. That's a lot of money. But when it comes to our time, we don't think about that. And I can tell you personally, I've been a multimillionaire and I've had nothing. And then I've been a multimillionaire and had nothing. I've been on this journey. And money is so easy to get again. Time, you can never, ever get back. Look at the boys at Lovable. Lovable, they went from nothing to being worth 200 million in 8 months. You can get money. You can't get time. So how do we preserve our time? And the best way to preserve it is to start delegating, like delegate to AI, delegate to virtual assistants. But okay, back to tool number 2. So tool number 2 is this. I believe that we should all have a post-time planner. Now, I'll tell you what a post-time planner is. The other morning, I woke up, okay, and I normally get up at about 7. I got up at 5 o'clock. It was one of those mornings you wake up and you're like, okay, I'm up now. I got out my phone and I thought, I'll just play on TikTok. I love TikTok, okay? I'll play on TikTok for a bit. So I played on TikTok for about, 20 minutes or so. And then I thought, you know what? I'm going to have a shower. I had a shower and then I went to my computer and I'm like, wow, it's 7:30. I'm actually almost late for my meeting. And I'm like, how's that possible? I was on TikTok for 20 minutes and I had a shower for, 5 or 10 minutes. Where did I lose the time? And I lost the time because I actually was on TikTok for 2.25 hours. Mm-hmm. Now, has that ever happened to you where you go on somewhere and you go, I'll be there now, just give me a minute. And then 5 hours later, you're still at the same place. Now, we don't plan for that. We have no plan in our society currently for that. We plan ahead. We go, okay, tomorrow I'm going to go to this meeting. I'm going to spend some time doing this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do the other thing. And then we go to our day and lots of us, I would have a day and I'd come back from my day and I'd be like, I was so busy today. I got no idea what I even did, but I didn't actually accomplish anything. When I sit down and I think, what did I actually accomplish? I haven't accomplished anything, right? And so how a post-time planner works is you literally sit down and you write down, let's say you start at 6 o'clock. You write down on a piece of paper, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, every hour. And then you set a chime on your watch. So every hour it goes ding, right? When your watch goes ding, you look down at the piece of paper and you go, okay, what have I spent the last hour doing? Okay, the last hour I was in a podcast. Oh, the last hour I was talking to clients. Oh, the last hour I was playing with the kids. Oh, the last hour I was at gym. Whatever that is, you write it down. And at the end of 2 weeks, you're going to look at that time and you're going to go, wow, I can't believe I spent so much of my time doing X or Y or whatever that thing is that you're doing. And that's going to allow you to see what you're actually spending your time on, which will allow you to adjust it. But if you don't do that, you're not going to have an idea where you're spending your time. And so you're just going to carry on like you are now, not having any time and being busy and overrun by stuff.
Mm-hmm. I like it.
And
I like it. I've got something to add to your point number 2 as well. I love it. We got a bit of a streak here. So busy being busy and actually not even realizing what's been done. And sometimes it's not that it wasn't productive. Sometimes it's just that you were so busy to actually acknowledge the successes you've made. And I think that's also important because me personally, you get to a time every now and then that you just working yourself out so much that you are no longer enjoying work or you're feeling miserable and you're not fully acknowledging the good work that you've done. So by logging it into your calendar, log in what you've done every day and then looking at it backwards for the week and just looking at, so I actually had a meeting with this person and we talked about referral partnerships and she was excited. Oh, that's a positive thing. And now I'm going to follow it up next week and just close that relationship and make it happen. Or you could look at something else. This week I've actually configured a new task for AI that will do it every week now. That's actually a positive thing. So I think there's a flip side to it too, right? It's just Make sure that you're not wasting time on stuff. But if you are working so much and you're not recognizing, you're not giving yourself pat on the shoulder at the end of the week, then do that, because it's important to finish off and feel strong, like feel like you've had a successful week. You just sometimes you just have to look back to realize that.
Yeah. Well, on that point, I actually have a meeting with my team every Friday. Okay, we have a stand-up meeting at the end of a Friday. And I literally go, what went well this week? What could we have done better? What are we planning for next week? And what's one piece of good news that you've got from the week? And we do that every single Friday. And so they'll say to me, oh, we accomplished this and this and this. We could have done better with this. We could have helped a client more with here. And then next week I'm going to be working on this. And the good news is I'm doing this for the weekend. Or the good news is a client said I was amazing, or whatever that good news is. So that's really good to help you to actually see where you're going. Mm-hmm. But the third point, and this is an important one. When I was growing businesses, I used to have a to-do list, like a gazillion things, like a whole heap of things on a to-do list. And I'd go into the office and I'd do the stuff on the to-do list. I'd work my way through the to-do list. But as I got busier, I realized that you actually need only 1 to 3 things that you have to accomplish. So in your business, there's one thing that you don't really want to do. Okay? You know you're supposed to do it. You know that you should be doing it, but you don't really want to do it. Okay, I spoke to a podcaster earlier on today and I said, what's that one thing that you know you should have done today that you haven't done yet? And she said, I'm supposed to invoice my clients today and I've done everything else except invoice my clients. Okay, so what's that one thing that you haven't done today? Or what's that one thing that you need to do today? And it might be that one thing, that one conversation you need to have with somebody. Might be that one conversation you maybe even have to have with your partner. Might be that one thing you have to do in business today that's going to change your business. Might be that one thing that you've got to do in your health. But what is one thing that you can do today? You're not going to be the thing that you really don't want to do. But what's that one thing that you're going to do that's going to change the way you do stuff? And this brings me to a term that I've got called productive procrastination. Okay. And I'm a champion, world champion, productive procrastinator. And I'll tell you the other day, I had to reconcile my credit card. Like, worst job in the world. I don't like doing it, okay? Because I've got to go back 3 months ago and I've got to look for XYZ Pty Limited, and I spent $47 and I got no idea who that was, where it was it company, personal, okay? But I've got to go and somehow try and find it, and don't like the job. So I come in the morning and I'm like, okay, I'm going to do my credit card. So I get my thing, I get my credit card up on my computer, and I'm like, okay, I'm ready. And then I go, it's a bit untidy, hey. So I'm just going to quickly tidy up my desk because I don't really want to work. It's not good to work in an untidy desk. So I tidy up my desk. And then when I've tidied up my desk, I look down and I'm like, man, there's a couple of stuff on the floor. While I've tidied my desk, some stuff's fallen on the floor. I might as well just vacuum it, eh? I'll just quickly vacuum it, okay? So I go and get the vacuum, and now I'm vacuuming the floor, okay, and I'm doing all this stuff. And by the end of the day, I go, I was so busy today, and you know what? I really have to reconcile my credit card tomorrow, okay? Because I've been productive. I've been extremely productive. The desk has to get tidied at some point. The floor has to get vacuumed at some point. But am I doing it because I don't want to do something else? Am I doing something because I'm actually avoiding something else? Because that's productive procrastination on productive tasks. So I feel good about it. And you know where a lot of us do this? A lot of us do it with education. We go, I should actually call customers. I should call customers 5 a day. Okay, I need to call customers. There's a seminar on, and it's on about how to get more people online. And I'm like, I'm going to go there because I'm going to learn. I'm going to learn so much. This is going to help me. This is going to help me massively, okay? And then I'm learning at this seminar, and then I go, okay, there's another learning that I can go. I'm going to go to this training about GHL, and I'm going to go to this training, I'm going to go to this training. And I don't call the 5 customers a day. And then at the end of the month, I go, I didn't make any money. I was like busy, and I've got no new customers coming through my pipeline. Because I was productively procrastinating. Going to an education, productive. Listening to this podcast, productive. If you don't do a post-it note and you don't do a post planner and you don't make one task, literally it's just procrastinating. There's probably something that you should be doing that's more important than this. So how do we do that? We choose one task. Every day, choose one task. And you can go to work and you can do 100 tasks, but start off by doing that one task that you know that you need to do. So those are my 3 tips for you. Get a post-it note.
Get it done. Yeah.
Yep. Get a post-it note. Do a post planner every hour. Look back at the hour before and choose one task. One task that you're going to do.
Get a post-it note. Write down how much money you need to make a day.
An hour.
An hour.
What your hourly rate should be. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is okay. So you might get a deal that you're going to close for $5,000. So obviously you're not going to try and make the amount every hour, but working towards that as well, right?
Well, how that works is, let's think about a podcast. We'll just use that as an example. So what are the things that are worth $100 an hour in a podcast? What you're doing now, being on a podcast, worth $100 an hour. People can't really do it for you. Actually, potentially interviewing the client before you bring them on the podcast, definitely worth it. Creating a lead magnet in order to promote your podcast, definitely worth it. Going to a networking event to actually promote your podcast, definitely worth it. Talking to the clients about the coaching products that you've got, definitely worth it. Telling people about the GoHighLevel, coaching them, setting up people's GoHighLevels, all that is worth more than $100 an hour. Going on Canva, editing this video is a $10 an hour job. Reaching out to people on LinkedIn who are your potentials is a $10 an hour job. Doing that initial chat like, hey, I see you do this. I see you're in GoHighLevel. I'd love to have a chat. It's a $10 an hour job. Arranging your images in Canva, $10 an hour job. Putting this stuff onto social media, $10 an hour job. Creating the shorts, $10 an hour job. Actually,
getting on a podcast, getting on somebody else's podcast as a guest, and getting 6 months worth of social media on the back of it, high value, which is what we do, by the way, guys. A little plug here. This podcast, I don't know if you know it, but we create about 6 months worth of social media for our guests. Right? We repurpose the heck out of it, all the best bits, the reels, the social media posts. We do it all. We have a CSV file that you get supplied with, and you use that for your own marketing. We use that to grow the podcast and the audience. Everybody wins. So here's the pitch. I'm looking for more guests. And if you have something that's valuable, advice, a strategy that you want to share, not to get on the podcast to promote yourself, that happens without saying, but if you got something that's going to provide value to the audience, I would love to consider you as a guest on the next show. I had a pitch the other day. Here's how not to do it. There's somebody, I'm not going to mention, somebody in HighLevel ecosystem call themselves an expert. I've been in the HighLevel ecosystem for 5 years. Couldn't find them on Facebook. No connections with people I know. Couldn't find them in the HighLevel community at all. So they're HighLevel and they're not in the HighLevel community as a member. It's a red flag. Couldn't find them. Their website was, it was like terrible. And their pitch was, I want to be on your podcast to get visibility. And what's my offer? And my offer is I've got an affiliate link for HighLevel and happy to promote HighLevel. So don't do that, guys. Like, the fact that you may not have a reach, you might not have a huge amount of reach. That's fine. Although it's important because that kind of shows if you have some notoriety in the business world. But if you have something really valuable, like a strategy that's proven, that's going to help everybody else on the podcast, I'd love to consider you guys. I mean it. So reach out. All right, that's enough on that one.
I love it. Yeah, look, people do that. They coming on your podcast, your HighLevel podcast, and then trying to sell their HighLevel is a bit weird, eh? Give some value. And if people like you, they will come and buy from you.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Now, Louis, there's one thing that the first time we connected on LinkedIn, I think it was on one of the networking calls with Ed. And you have this same strategy. You have this unique strategy how you help people with creating content, isn't it? You do it a similar way, don't you? Do you get them on an interview, or how do you do it?
I do. So what I do is I actually interview people for 1 hour. And I've actually created some software where I've actually built in all the NLP, the hypnotherapy, the timeline therapy, the business stuff. I built it all into this program. So I can literally sit with you for an hour and I can tell you, I can clarify who your avatar is. I can clarify what your service is, probably better than you've done before, right? Where you'll go, wow, that explains what I actually do. And then I give you the top 10 fears, frustrations, dreams, and desires of your ideal client. What are their top fears? What are they really scared about? And what do they really want in life? And this helps you because I then go and I give you about 10,000 video ideas where you can make short videos. And that's already enough. But then I go in and I give you 20 hooks. So 20 hooks that are going to be perfectly targeted for those fears, frustrations, dreams, and desires. And then the next stage of this is we actually help you create 20 stories. So I'll create 20 stories or metaphors for you that explain exactly what you do. So sometimes it's hard to explain what you do. Like I say to people, I've got a virtual assistant team and I can help you get a team. And if you've got a team, it's much easier to work if you've got a team. And it's much easier to stay in business if you've got a team. And you may or may not remember that. But if I tell you the story about this old man and he had 3 sons and they were always fighting, okay? And then he was dying. And he needed them to work together. And so he said to them, I want you each to go outside and get 2 sticks. Each of them came back with 2 sticks. And he said, okay, break the first stick. They break the first stick. And then he said to the oldest son, I want you to take the other 3 sticks and I want you to tie them together. And then he said to the youngest, break it. And he couldn't break it. And the couldn't break it. And oldest couldn't break it. And he said, you see, if you work together, nobody can break you. But if you work on your own, people are going to easily be able to break you. Now, you might not remember my thing that I told you earlier about the team, but you'll probably remember that story next time you see a stick. Now, that's what I help you do. I help you create 20 stories like that explain the concepts in your business, but with a metaphor that people actually really understand. And then I create 20 Facebook posts, 20 LinkedIn posts. I give you 5 examples of lead magnets, and we actually build out 1 lead magnet for you. And then I actually give you the software to be able to finish it off and get all the rest of the stuff done on it. And that's a guarantee. That's already 6 months worth of content. Then I interview you for 20 minutes. And after I've interviewed you, my team breaks it up into shorts, and you put those shorts out onto your content. So you've got a genuine 6 months worth of content, video ideas, Facebook, LinkedIn posts, stories to use, and video stuff from your interview.
Okay, here's what I like about this. All right, and straight away, I'm a big fan of leverage, guys. So here's where my brain goes, right? If you're wondering, what's Fit thinking? How he would leverage this. So there's 2 things. The first thing that popped in my mind is like, this is more on the sense of selling HighLevel. Like, how can we get more customers sign up for our white label version of HighLevel for the subscription? And then obviously that creates that relationship, opens the doors to then upsell them for agency services. Foot in the door offers. You can't just send people to your pricing page to sign up for a plan. But foot in the door offers. Hey, I made you a website. Would you like to look at it using AI Studio? Hey, just build a voice AI agent that knows everything about your business. Would you like to check it out? Foot in the door offers, right? This is a foot in the door offer. The first thing that popped in my mind, like, this would be brilliant. I could do the same thing. I'm already doing it for the podcast. I just haven't commercialized it the way you've done it. But going to businesses and offering a free business spotlight interview, on the back of it, you get some stuff. How many business owners you speak to and you're assessing their social media, and they either, it's crickets, they don't have any content, or they have some really lame, ugly graphics, which is like not going to hit on anyone's ears. They need it. They don't have time. They need it. This is and the deliverability of it is like, hey, just jump on a meeting for 20 minutes. That's a low effort. So that's straight was like, well, I could repurpose that strategy and create my own version of this. I already have a podcast. I've got another podcast that adds value to the podcast. I've got something. But then I thought, and here's my follow-up thought. Well, I could do all that. I could sign up for Louis's program. I could see how he does that. And I could build a version of it myself. But do I want to do that? Or wouldn't it be better? Wouldn't it be better to partner up with somebody like Louis, who already has done that, and create a referral partnership? Wouldn't that be more leverage? This is what I'm thinking, right? So what do you call this? What do you call this, Louis? For the guys listening.
I call it the Clarify program because I'm really clarifying your avatar and I'm clarifying what your service is. And I'm clarifying in your mind what their fears and frustrations and dreams are. And I'll tell you something interesting. I was like, oh yeah, AI. Created a whole lot. And in 1 week, I worked with some healers and I had 2 people crying when I read back the fears and frustrations and dreams and desires that it had come back with. That's how powerful they were. Because to them, those were such real things. It really had captured what those fears were. Because lots of times we think we know what the fears are and we know sort of what they are, but this really captures those deep fears. We all have that. We have all these fears. We have fears that lots of us don't even think about. We have obviously fear of failure, fear of being seen, fear of being judged. But have you thought about fear of success? Have you ever thought about that? Fear of success. If you're really successful, if I put this post out, maybe everyone's going to buy my program. And then I'm going to get all this money. And then my friends are going to think I'm a bit of a thing because I've got more money than them now. Okay? And my family might think I'm like stuck up because I've got more money. And people will see me in a nice car. And I might have to move to a new suburb because I've got so much money. And I'm going to have to leave my friends behind. I don't want that. So I play small. And that's a weird fear, hey? It's a weird fear, but it's a very genuine fear that we have. Fear of success. It's not one that you normally think about.
It is interesting because I saw somebody, Jesus, it'll come back to me. Somebody well-known, celebrity. Damn it, I forgot the name. Anyway, doesn't matter. The concept is important. I asked him, would you rather be, this celebrity status, or just have wealth but private life? And they would just be wealthy but be private life. Nobody needs to know. They would I think a lot of people who are famous would take it any day. The ability to just go out on the street and walk, enjoy yourself, speak to your friends, and them not having to look at you through a filter. I think it's an interesting thing. Not saying it's for everybody, but I think to me that's important. Like I would certainly not want to get people to know like how much money I make or how much money I will make in the future when I make more money. Either way. So Louis, this thing, and then we put together a bit of an offer for you guys. So you have another thing, which is the VIP content launch kit, which is the repurposing of the videos. Is that right?
Yes. So we can do all the videos, give them to you, give you all the content, give you all that thing. And then we've got another program where we've actually got virtual assistants where we can actually implement it. So if you don't know how to put it onto your socials, we've got a team and we can just actually put it onto your socials, schedule it for you, get all that done. So it's literally a one-stop. You come to us and we can help you with all the different things to really get yourself out there. And even branding, if you need your branding done, we can do all of that as part of the thing for you.
You're brilliant. No, I like it. So guys, if you're listening, if you're running an agency, this might not be for you, obviously. But if you are listening, if you're a regular business owner who's using HighLevel and you don't want to worry about creating your content, then that's a great offer to check out. Just head over to highlevelexperience.com/launch kit. highlevelexperience.com/launch kit. When you land on that page, you're going to see a couple of other offers. We have sponsors on this podcast. Make sure you check out their offers. I've got some lead magnets that might be helpful more if you're an agency, so have a look at it. But really appreciate you being on the show today, Louis. We've dived into some valuable topics here. I think some thought-provoking ideas. I really like the three tips you give us. Let's bring those up back to the surface. So number one, value your time. put a sticker on and think about how much money you need to make an hour, and that'll put things in your perspective, especially when you look at tasks that you're doing. Number 2, damn it, what's number 2?
The post planner, after the hour.
After
Look
the
back
hour
at the
plan.
last hour.
That's right.
Yeah.
Look back, make sure you're not wasting time. And number 3 was, see, there you go. See, I'm already forgetting this stuff.
What's the one task?
Yes.
So if you leave this podcast, do the post-it note. Trust me, it's going to be the best thing you ever do. Do the post-it note with the time on it, with the amount on it. I can't tell you the amount of people that come up to me and say, Louis, you changed my life with one post-it note. Because up until this point, you haven't thought about your time in money terms. And obviously you want to make more than $100 an hour. You want to sell packages, and you don't want to sell time for hours, but you want to be doing stuff that's worth more than $100, at least an hour.
You know what I've realized? Less is more. Like sometimes we just think about the next thing we need to do. What's the next thing? What's the next idea? How I'm going to generate leads? What's the next thing? And then we forget to focus on what we've done. A simple meeting you've had with somebody and they mentioned something that just passed your ears, and it was something that you should have followed up on. And it could have been a fellow partner relationship. You just needed to focus on that. So I think there's real power in focusing on like less of the stuff that you do day to day and just zeroing in on more depth to actually get to the real leverage on those things. Because sometimes we skim the surface and we move on to the next thing. We skim the surface, we move on to the next thing. We never go into the depth of it to really harvest the value that there is just waiting for us. We just have to put a bit of an extra effort. So I think it goes hand in hand with what you're saying. It's focus on that one thing, dig in, and create results. So thank you so much, Louis. If there's one piece of advice that you'd like the guys to leave with after today, I think, I already know what you're going to say, so you might want to just repeat what you said, really. But if there's anything else, go ahead, mate.
Well, look, you're going to do the post-it note. That's a given, okay? If you're serious about this, you're going to do the post-it note, right? My book, The Bee Myth, is literally going to have a whole lot more. I've given you 3 little tips. My book is full of these things, okay? It's full of ways that you can actually do it. It's written as a parable, so it's super easy to read. But I really want you to succeed. And if you're stuck and you can book in a coffee call with me. Let's have a chat. Let's work out how I can help you to succeed. Because my whole thing is about how do I help people to succeed. And the first way is implementation. Information without implementation is just entertainment.
And on that, let's wrap it up. Louis, thank you so much for being on the show. Thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for providing us and the strategies. Yeah, thank you so much, mate. Really appreciate you being on.
My absolute pleasure.
Guys, thank you so much as well. Thank you for listening to today's episode on the HighLevel Experience podcast. If you've enjoyed today's episode, please do me a favor. If you know somebody that will benefit from listening to today's episode, please share it with them. You can just send a simple link, highlevelexperience.com/listen. You never know who this might really help. So if you know any fellow high-level agency owners that you think would benefit, please share it. If there's somebody that mentioned that they're struggling with, maybe they're in the high-level community, just drop it in the comments. Something, be relevant, not just like for the sake of putting it out there, but be relevant so it can really help somebody. You never know. For show notes, links, and extra tips to helping your agency or your SaaS with HighLevel, please go to highlevel.com. Thank you, and have a great rest of your day, everybody.